Well, it's time for another one of those videos. I'll try not to cuss as much as I probably did in the last one. Charlie Kirk has a interesting conversation with a Kamala voter who looks like she's early mid 30s and pretending to be in her 20s. So let's just watch this video real quick.
Okay, no, here we go.
I'll pause every so often.
Please come up to the mic.
Hi, Charlie. My name is Sophie, and I have a couple questions for you. My first is that, do you believe in state rights?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay. Are you okay then with the possibility of having a nationwide abortion ban?
I mean, there's zero chance of that happening, but of course, one day I would love to have that happen. Yeah, I mean, we can't get 30 Republican senators to agree that they're pro-life, and so it's fear-mongering by your preferred candidate to try to hold on to political power.
So
And by the way,
you're okay with it, though, if it were to pass? If there were to be a national abortion ban, you would be okay with
well,
that?
you know what? It's not what Charlie Kirk wants. If it were to pass, it means the people want it. Because the representatives reflect the will of the people.
Or it could be enacted as an executive action.
Well, no, it can't. First of all,
yeah, you can start the...
No, not really. But if that were the case, if Biden actually cared about doing what was right, he wouldn't have rescinded all of Trump's policies. He would just left them in. He would have left them enacted. Like, like that's those are good. Just leave them alone. And he didn't. Signed, what was it, almost 39 to 40 executive orders, executive actions, and they were all designed to rescind Trump policies that actually kept everything safe and secure. Let's keep watching.
The Comstock locked and how it apply to
the Supreme Court has said that it's to the states, and that's where it holds right now. I think that's a really good place for it, considering the temperature of the country.
Project 2025, which is Donald Trump's plan.
Well, no, it's not actually. So
Donald Trump has come out and literally stated that Project 2025 is not actually his plan. It was put forth by a conservative think tank, which unfortunately was comprised of jaded members of the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation does do good work every now and then, but they have some employees or some contributors who are a little bit on the unhinged side. They have one of the largest databases for election and voter fraud, and I had somebody on Twitter tell me, "Oh well, that's just right wing propaganda." Dude, it was documenting fraud on both sides. It wasn't just Trump and the right. It was Republicans and Democrats being busted for voter fraud, voter intimidation, voter suppression, ballot fraud, you name it. It was equally both sides of the political aisle doing this. Trump has already come out and said, no, Project 2025 is not my policies. I don't agree with it. And if people who used to work for Trump apparently signed off on it or gave info, people need to remember that during Trump's first term, most of the people were not people he himself privately appointed. It was all word of mouth. Oh, I think this person would do a good job in this position. It's called committee selection, and apparently a lot of people on the internet who cry about Trump don't seem to understand that. It's like, oh well, he appointed. No, dumbass. Trump was handed a list of candidates and told who might be the best at that job in question, and he went off of that because he didn't have people he could fully trust. He thought he could trust some people, and it turned out that those people stabbed him in the back. It's why it's why I attribute Donald Trump was a man who went into a den of vipers. That you need to understand this stuff. People like her are freaking wearing a rainbow Kamala Harris shirt with a I vote, and they're completely ignorant because they don't know what their policies are. They don't know what their candidates' policies are. They can't name one policy. They just go, well, maybe, well, maybe, well, maybe, You got people on both sides of the political aisle who are going to vote for Donald Trump, because you got Democrats and Independents who are starting to realize, hey, I voted for Biden, and oh my God, those Trump support, those Republicans, America First movement, oh my God, they were actually right. These people, my candidates for the left suck, and they're lying to me. There are people waking up. You got news outlets who think, oh well, Trump's got an edge. It's a knife. No, it's not a knife. It's not on the edge of a knife. We have had it. We've had it for a long time. We're sick of the media's bullshit. They put forward a person who is not capable, both 3 times, of doing a job. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. If you actually wanted to unify the country, you wouldn't get on these news programs and label half the country Nazis. You wouldn't call 80 million Americans garbage. If Biden had actually been competent, the moment he said that, he would have stopped and went, "Oh my God, what the hell have I done?" I don't mean any of that. That garbage statement. I wasn't thinking. I was tired or something. Could have said that. That's not how I feel about Trump's base. He didn't. He doubled down. And then Karine Jean-Pierre comes out and doubles down. And the media doubles down. And Kamala doubles down. And it's like, you're not making yourselves look like unity candidates. You're making yourselves look like completely either A, idiotic, or B, desperate. We're going to get Trump back in office whether they like it or not. And we're going to purge the corruption from our country. Javier Milei is doing it down in Argentina. They're doing it in El Salvador. They're doing it in South America. It's only a matter of time before Bolsonaro kicks Lula out of the freaking president's mansion in Brazil. Lula used his ties to a corrupt judge to get his sentence commuted so he could cheat himself back into being president of Brazil. The left does not get it. We're done with your bullshit. We're kicking you out of office. We're kicking you out of the country. Let's get back to the video.
It's like, I'm not going to let you come up here and just lie. That's not true. It was done by an outside group. He had nothing to do with it. But let's
Heritage
talk.
Foundation, which he took over 60% of his policies from in his first term. You're going to say he's completely separate from the Heritage Foundation. Also,
yes, I will.
The authors of Project 2025 were senior people in his first office.
Well, hold on.
Yes, senior people in his first office term, like I said, doesn't mean they were people that Trump fully rely on or trust. Yeah, these people are not very. I don't. It's aggravating listening to this woman talk, and she's completely uneducated about politics.
Since we're talking about Project 2025, maybe you can help me explain this. Do you support Kamala Harris getting rid of the filibuster to restore Roe versus Wade?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe in the filibuster.
You don't believe in the filibuster?
I think it's anti-democratic.
Okay. Do you think we should ban fracking?
Yes, I do.
Does your candidate?
She's kind of iffy on that one. She was against it, or she was for banning fracking in her.
Do you think she's telling the truth when she says she's for it?
Well, for banning fracking.
No, that she says she's for fracking. Is she telling the truth?
I think that she's being pushed one way or the other because people, or she's working on winning an election.
Oh, winning an election, so just tell the voters what they want, right?
I think that if you want to win an election, you have to sometimes compromise on the things that you originally believed in. She realized that it was not a productive policy when she was running in 2020, and she didn't get the nomination, so she backstepped. And it's okay for people to change their opinions when they've learned more.
What is her greatest accomplishment?
She's
Here we go.
had a record number of tie-breaking votes in the Senate of any vice president ever.
What's the greatest legislative accomplishment?
So, according to this woman, Kamala's biggest accomplishment is having the highest number of votes in the Senate. Huh? It's not an accomplishment. That's just doing a job.
You'd point to.
I don't have.
No, but the tie-breaking vote. Tell me one tie-breaking vote.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Oh, I wish I had this on the top of my head, but I don't. I have another question for you.
No,
Do
but
you believe in parents'
I'm curious about her achievements. Of course, parents can't abuse their kids, but I do believe in parents' rights. Yes, but tell me
do
this.
You believe
So
that
no.
I'm
asking you a question.
Nationwide?
This woman
Yes,
also
of course we should ban critical race theory
So
from
then you're
publicly
not for
funded
parents'
schools.
rights?
No, okay. Again, I'm happy to.
That's backwards.
Well, hold on. Do you think that we should teach eugenics in our schools?
We do teach about eugenics.
No,
We don't
teach it as
eugenics,
fact.
But we teach about it when we talk about
No,
Nazi
should we
Germany.
teach it as fact?
About eugenics.
Yes.
Explain your question more.
So critical race theory is immoral and wrong and believes that certain races are not worthy of being treated as well.
No, critical race theory is about defining structures and
right. So tell me who was
races have
the
been
original author of,
disenfranchised.
since you know about it, who was the original critical race theorist in the 1990s? Name one.
I don't have the names
Yeah,
off
you
the
don't.
top of my head.
Yeah, it's Derek
But
Bell, Angela Davis.
You just said that you were for
Kimberly
parents' rights.
Crenshaw.
But
No,
you're
but again,
against parents' rights
you
if you're
obviously-
okay with them having a nationwide ban for critical race
Yes,
theory. And for
hold on a second. I do not believe that we should be teaching children that white people are bad because of the color of their skin. I think that's repulsive and it's wrong.
That is fine as a belief.
No,
but
that's what
goes
CRT is.
That goes against your own belief in parents'
Okay,
rights.
but
Do you believe in
again-
small government?
Okay.
Hold on a second. Let
Do
me
you believe
answer
in
your.
small
Let's
government?
slow down a second. Parents' rights. If a parent wants to homeschool their kids and teach critical race theory, they have the right to do that. We should not taxpayer fund it, though. But let me ask you this question.
But if parents are taxpayers
Let me ask you this
and their
question.
taxpayer money is going to
Let me
publicly
ask you
funded
this
schools,
question.
that's pretty counterintuitive.
Let me ask you this question. Your candidate right now is not doing very well. You agree?
No, I don't. I think it's actually just a neck-and-neck race. It's going to
Okay,
be
got it.
one on the
Fine,
margins.
okay, great. So why is it that most Americans think
Except it's not really a neck and neck race. See, I find that interesting. It's like, oh, it's a neck and neck race. It's on the knife. The whitest. They said this same stuff with Trump and Biden, and for most of November 5th and 6th, for the night of the election, Biden was behind Trump by 28 to 30 points in a lot of states. You'll see them. You're not going to hear the media bring that back up because they don't want to touch that apparently. But I will. Joe Biden was behind Donald Trump by 28 points in Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Michigan, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and then at a certain point, they got ballot dumps between midnight and 3 a.m. and suddenly Biden suddenly had this massive lead when he didn't have it hours before. That's why we question. That's why a lot of us, myself included, question the election. Everyone goes, "Well, there was no fraud." How the hell do you know? If you're only going off of what one news station is telling you, of course you're not going to think there's fraud. But if you actually plugged yourself and listened to a lot of different sources, you might realize, oh, wait a minute. None of that makes sense. This outlet is saying that Biden got 80 million votes, but these 5 other outlets, independent and verifying the integrity of the vote, saying Biden didn't get that much. He did not have that big a lead. Yet this one news outlet over here just goes, "Oh well, we know, just totally trust us, bro." No. That's why I will continue to believe that Joe Biden is illegally in office. He didn't win 2020. I've got at least 2, maybe 3 videos. Yeah, two videos on the 2020 election, and a couple of other videos on calling out like Liz Cheney and Adam Schiff. One video, well, I really call the 2020 election was a joke. That video, on November 5th and 6th, it spiked to 295 views. And then YouTube slapped a label on it and killed access to the video. And even now, to this day, today, that video only has about 340 views at best. Or under that. It has a little over 300 views. Because YouTube made sure nobody saw that video after Election Day. They killed access to it because that's what they do, because they're run by a bunch of brainless liberals who don't want people thinking for themselves. See, if YouTube actually was impartial, they as soon as something happened, they'd say, "Okay, we need to back the fuck off." That guy says that video's fair use. Okay, it's fair use. We're not gonna get into it. We're not gonna tell him, "Oh, you have to go to court." We're not gonna freaking side with this company that's most likely fraudulent. We're gonna actually play a neutral party. That person says this video is fair use. I have proof of it. I am the one who made it. I did not steal anything. Yeah, okay, we're leaving it alone. No, they don't do that. That would be common sense. Instead, YouTube just lets these scammers take over people's channels, steal people's videos, and then when the content creator like myself challenges it, YouTube doesn't do jack shit. They just go. They favor the scammer who lies and says they're with a company when they're not. I've got videos on my channel where I got express permission from someone to use audio from a cover song, and then someone else comes along and claims they represent the studio or whatever, and they flag my video instead of shutting up, backing off, and going, "Okay, that guy got permission from a cover artist. Don't touch him." See, I do 3D animation on my channel. Everyone complains about the Brony fandom and My Little Pony content. I don't really give a shit. You want to cry? Go cry. Get on Reddit. Go throw a temper tantrum. I've probably said this before. I'm gonna make what I want. I'm also an America First voter. I want to take care of my country. People like this woman don't want to take care of the country. They're party first instead of stopping, questioning their candidate and going, "Oh, wait, oh my God. Those Trump supporters were actually right on stuff." I need to change my mind. And you got people like her on both. Actually, you have people like this woman on both sides. Because you got people who go, well, you know, you're a brony. You don't get to have an opinion. Yes, I do. If you don't like it, bye-bye. There's a door. I'm not stopping you from leaving. You don't get to tell me how to live. This is what people on the internet really need to get through their damn thick skulls. You see someone with a My Little Pony icon, so what? Grow a backbone, talk to them, and go, oh, okay, have a nice day. I'll leave it at that. Instead of telling them, well, you don't get to have an opinion. Oh, well, you know, like the profile picture is seen, you know, opinion discarded. Yeah, good job. You just made yourself look like a moron. And an actual totalitarian because you want to limit people who don't agree with you on stuff.
That Trump handled the economy better than Kamala and Biden.
Because he inherited Obama's economy.
No, he did. Let's keep playing the video. Obama tanked our economy. Trump brought it back, but apparently she didn't learn that.
Because we went into a recession. We went into inflation at the end of his term. Joe Biden inherited inflation. Joe Biden inherited his tax policies. Joe Biden. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to teach an economics class right now. Do you believe in small government?
Of course
That's
I
my
do.
question
How
for
many of you guys in the audience?
Now that was extremely condescending. Well, I'm not going to teach. No, why would you? You're ignorant. You're uneducated on policy matters. I mean, you strike me as the type of person who thinks, well, you know, if I support the current thing, you know, that would make me like super popular. No, it makes you look like an utter moron, and makes it look like you're disconnected from the pulse of the rest of the country. Like you don't have any clue what the working class is going through, but you somehow think Kamala is going to understand.
Audience are getting crushed by inflation right now. Raise your hand.
All of us.
Look at this.
All of us. It's a global issue.
Wait, you're being crushed by your own vice president.
It's a global issue. Do you understand do people here understand what a vice president does?
What has your vice president? What has Kamala done to secure the border?
People understand what a vice president does.
Well, wait, hold on a second. What does Joe Biden do?
He's the president.
Oh.
So she has to do whatever he wants her to do. That's what a vice president does. I'm sorry, you still haven't answered my question. Do you believe in small government?
Yes, you're doing a sequence of questions. Yes, I do. In what context, though? I believe the government should be small but strong.
Small but strong.
Yes.
Explain that.
So small in its scope, strong in its enforcement. It should have morally clear terms of what it does. Yes.
So you're okay with expanding the military as it is part of the government?
No, actually. By the way, one of the reasons that we're here is because Kamala.
The military is a separate branch. I don't normally do this. This man right here was a 20 plus year Navy veteran on nuclear submarines. This was my dad. He served in fire control and ballistics. He's the guy that would get the order from the Cobb, the captain of the boat, to run drills and, if necessary, launch Trident nuclear and ballistic missiles from a sub-launch platform. If he were still here, he would be screaming at the television of the stuff that's going on now, going, what the hell is wrong with these people? This woman is a smug, ignorant idiot who does not realize the shit coming out of her mouth. She acts smug enough to think she's intelligent when she's really not. My mother is smarter than this woman right here.
Harris is a warmonger who wants to send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine while our own border remains wide open, and 320,000 kids are missing in sex trafficking because of your preferred candidate, Kamala Harris. Are you worried about those 320,000 missing kids?
Of course I'm worried about children. However, I don't believe that the vice president is responsible for that.
She's in charge of the border. She took credit for the border. She's the border czar. Joe Biden said this is who's in. She was said, I am in charge of the border. How has she done it doing that, by the way? Has she done a good job managing the border?
I honestly disagree with all of the past administrations on their border policies, personally.
Okay, but do you think...
Yeah, because it's always Trump's fault, right? It's always the past administration. It's never, hey, let's take responsibility for our screw-ups, be adults about this, and go, yeah, we enacted bad border policies. The Trump administration had the right idea. We should have stuck with that. We should have stayed true to that. Oh wait, no, we're just gonna throw everything under the bus because we're all the vindictive types like her.
Think she's done a good job?
No, I don't think anybody's done a good job.
Do you want...
However, there was an incredible, very strict border bill that went into the Senate and was voted down because Donald Trump himself wanted it to be a voting issue.
It's BS. And
no, people, there's literally quotes. There's literally quotes.
Yeah, the border bill that would have included, I believe it was $16 billion or less to Ukraine to fund the ongoing proxy war with Russia. And yet this person automatically believes, well, it was a bipartisan. No, it wasn't. So we need to get all these dumbasses out of Congress. Seriously, this is what's killing the United States. We have ignorant, brain-dead morons running our country into the ground, not adhering to the will of the American people. They'd rather adhere to the will of a corporate donor than the people who actually put them in office.
People saying it.
So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but let me ask you, how many people would have been allowed to cross the border every day in the bill? Tell me.
It's in the tens of thousands.
5,000 people a day.
Yeah.
It would. So that means...
I'm not against that.
Do you believe in borders?
I do believe in borders, but I'm not against limiting by a random number. That's a random number. So we need to pay attention to the context in which people are crossing the border, why they're doing
context.
That. Context is important.
So when someone robs a bank, if they're hungry, that's okay?
Say it again.
If someone is poor, should they be able to break into America?
That's not at all what I'm insinuating.
No, what's the context then? I don't understand.
Nobody's breaking into... When you're talking about legal border crossings...
No, these are...
You're talking about 5,000 a day legal border crossings.
No, these are not... These are illegal entries into the United States of America.
Do you know that there have been more arrests under this administration for people crossing the border than there were during Donald Trump?
Because...
Yeah, arrests and then they just release them back into the country. So what's your point? I think I'm starting to lose a brain cell here and there and everywhere in between. Charlie's a smart guy. I had somebody try to argue with me. I was like, grow the hell up. I was like, Charlie Kirk is actually trying to get people to exercise your damn brains for once in your freaking lives. You can at least make an attempt to have a conversation, whether you agree with him or not. But if you're just gonna come to go to a channel and say, well, this is lies and get out. I think I nuked that person's comment. So people need to realize if you're gonna leave stupid comments on my channel, I leave them up for like a couple days to a week or month, and then if I feel like it, I go back and I delete them. But most of the time, I just leave comments up because some people really are so stupid they don't realize. Wait, I just made an idiot out of myself. That guy has every right to make the content he wants. Why am I bitching about it?
Because there's more people coming across the southern border.
So context matters.
Yeah, 10 million people are illegally in the country. Let me ask one final question. Do you think Kamala Harris did a good job managing the Russian-Ukrainian war? She went to the Munich Security Conference days before the invasion. Is she someone that you think is a smart person?
I do think she is a smart person. That is a separate question. I don't believe that the Ukrainian war has been handled well by anyone in government. Personally, I think we can say eye to eye on that.
What's one thing Trump did right as president?
Oh, I'll help you out. He did a lot of good things. One of the things that he did was he was a president who really boosted the economy.
She can't name
I
it.
disagree with that.
Started no new wars.
That's not true either. No, he was a part of the Abraham Accords, which is the reason why Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. That.
Really? That's your only answer? He's the reason why it... Oh my god. I'm about to look... This isn't on Charlie. I'm probably going to fall asleep listening to this woman come up with bullshit responses. I like the guy in the background.
But that was because of his participation in creating the Abraham Accords.
Talk to me. Just talk to me here.
Okay. I can't think of a single thing that he's done that I would support. I disagree with it. What would you list
The
as
only
his
thing
favorite?
that I can add there is you've said that what does a
Oh,
vice president do,
Tulsi
right?
Gabbard.
That she has to do whatever
Just
the
became a
president wants her to
Republican.
do. But when she was asked just a week ago, she was given
I
the
probably
opportunity
wanted
to maybe point out
I
some
don't care.
differences.
I'm probably one of the
When she was
few
asked on The View,
conservatives
what
or
would
many
you have done
conservatives.
differently than Joe Biden? And she
They
said,
actually
I
wanna see her
cannot
run for
think of a
president.
single thing. So she is responsible.
I
Joe
would vote
Biden
for
has
her.
said he delegated everything from domestic to
That's what
foreign
people don't
policy
get.
to her,
There are a
and she
lot
has
of
been
us-
by his side every step of the way through every major decision he's
especially
made.
myself,
So she
who
should
would
be held
vote for
accountable
Tulsi
for a
Gabbard
record that she
if she had
continues to
ran
say that they are very proud of.
for vice president.
I disagree with this held accountable stance, but I actually agree that I thought that was a very poor answer. I thought that she had an opportunity there to bring in some of the voters who, are maybe on the fence about her because of Joe Biden's policies and because of the idea this would be a continuation of Biden administration. I really didn't appreciate that opinion, and I also don't think that she's a perfect candidate. She's my preferred candidate, but I don't believe she's a perfect candidate, and so I'm fully with you with that. That was
Last question. Does
not a
it
good
bother
response.
you that there was no primary?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't bother her that there was no primary. Okay.
No, and it's for a practical reason, and not like I would have preferred there have been a primary, but primaries are very expensive. I would have preferred. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have liked it. I'm just saying that I'm not making a huge issue about it.
So explain to me how the party of democracy can have a candidate that no one voted for.
Because it's within the rules. It's
No,
literally
it's
within-
not. No, honey, no, it's not within the rules. You people keep going on about democracy, voice of the people, but nobody voted for Kamala. Not you, not Charlie, not me, not anyone. No one in the damn country voted for her. It was literally a process of selection by committee, not by the voice of the people.
it's within the rules. Like we can change the rules
No,
later if
of
we
course
want.
it's within the rules, but like no one voted for her. So how's that democracy?
I mean, they did vote for her for vice president.
Not in the Democrat primary. Joe Biden runs alone in a primary. There's no VP on the
Listen,
ticket.
I'm also not in support of the two-party system. I think the parties themselves have become extremely polarized. I think it's created a polarized community, and I think that the two-party system should be taken down.
So,
They should have less power.
You seem,
I actually believe in getting rid of primaries altogether.
you seem like a smart person. No, what's your name? What's your name? I'm sorry.
Sophie.
Sophie, you're bright.
Thank you.
You're not making a good political decision here. But let me just tell you this.
It's your opinion.
You will look back and you say, wow, Kamala Harris is a corporate shill who actually does support not just the two-party system, she supports a one-party system. She does, let me finish, and then we'll just call it even. That she does not believe in freedom of speech. She censors her
Neither
opponents.
does Donald Trump. Neither does Donald Trump.
Yeah, Donald Trump. How could you say that? Who is a Donald Trump ever shut up?
Wait, I'm sorry. You think that Donald Trump supports freedom of speech?
Of course he does.
He's extremely pro-Israel, and there are 38 states right now that have anti-BDS laws. That is a violation of freedom of speech, and if he were to take office, I'm sure that he would continue those. Also, the internet, I'm sorry, is not a utility. The only way for freedom of speech to be impeded, is if the government does something. But they said that those are private corporations. Do you believe that private corporations should be able to make decisions about what they do?
It's a lot more nuanced than that.
Is it?
Yeah. So, for example, should United Airlines be able to kick us off because we're Republicans now?
Well, what do you think?
Because there's only 3 carriers, and so it's more nuanced than that. For example, should AT&T be able to drop your calls if you say you're supporting Kamala if it's owned by a Republican? Answer the question. If AT&T finds out,
that corporations should have the freedom to make any executive decisions that they want.
When it gets to scale and it's a monopoly, it becomes more nuanced than that.
We agree on breaking up monopolies then.
Yes, we do. I know, but that's why it's more nuanced. So,
yeah.
All right, we'll see who wins. Thank you so much.
Sweetie.
Oh, that was something. I'm probably going to do another one of these later, but I need to get off for now.